Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I took an extended break from YouTube, but I'm back and I couldn't think of a better way to return than with this video because I've been looking forward to making it for years. I'm excited to share it with you. I hope you enjoy. Today, I'm taking you on a journey. Not just to one of the most beautiful places on earth, but to a town that's quietly making Bitcoin history. A place where a magnificent lake meets colorful villages, and where Bitcoin isn't just an investment, it's becoming a way of life. This is another example of a Bitcoin circular economy in action, and I felt compelled to check it out. Welcome to Bitcoin Lake. But how did Bitcoin Lake even start? Bitcoin Lake is a grassroots initiative in Panajachel, Guatemala, on the shores of Lake Atitlán. Inspired by El Salvador's Bitcoin Beach, the project was launched in 2021 by U.S. expat and retired doctor Patrick Melder to promote local Bitcoin adoption. At the time of filming, over 90 businesses and vendors around Lake Atitlán, particularly in Panajachel, accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. This includes a variety of different establishments such as hotels, restaurants, cafes, tuk-tuk drivers, boat services, and even tattoo studios. The goal is to create an alternative economy in a region with limited access to traditional banking. Today, some businesses accept Bitcoin, and students are learning about it through community-led education programs. In February 2025, I spent a week at Lake Atitlán exploring the towns, the nature, and the growing Bitcoin movement. Since I didn't want to spend the money to get a helicopter to get to Lake Atitlán, I hired a private taxi. Basically, a guy with an SUV driving me from the airport. The drive was an experience in itself. Heavy traffic near Guatemala City, endless twists and turns as you climb toward the lake, and honestly, a lot of poverty and garbage along the roadside. Seeing that side of Guatemala was eye-opening. Bitcoin isn't just for speculation or investing. It can offer real opportunities for people in places where options are limited. Moving on to accommodations. When I arrived at Lake Atitlán, my first stop was to Porta Hotel del Lago. There were a ton of options as far as Airbnbs and hotels to choose from, but I opted to stay here where I stayed 7 nights. I'd never been to Guatemala before, so I wanted somewhere that looked safe and reliably comfortable, and that it was. The staff was warm and welcoming. There was a delicious breakfast buffet every morning, and the rooms offered the perfect blend of comfort and tasteful design, with unforgettable views taking center stage. I highly recommend this hotel. Getting around Lake Atitlán is half the adventure. On land, it's pretty walkable, or you can grab a tuk-tuk to zip through the busy streets, winding roads, and steep hills. They're loud, bumpy, and exhilarating. When at Lake Atitlán, don't get stuck in Panajachel. There's so much more to see around the water. There are about 11 main towns and villages that circle the lake, each with its own unique vibe. To really explore, you'll need to catch a boat, as some of these spots are only accessible by water. Though some boats accepted Bitcoin, I stuck with the public ones and paid cash. It was more convenient and what most people seem to be doing. And wow, it's a whole different ride. Things get seriously bumpy, especially in the afternoons when the waves pick up. You're crammed into a low, enclosed boat, getting tossed around and quietly plotting your escape route just in case it tips. These rides were certainly memorable experiences. Though this didn't have much to do with Bitcoin, I don't think they even accepted Bitcoin. Nevertheless, one of my favorite stops was the Aditan Nature Reserve. It was only about a 10-minute tuk-tuk drive away from our hotel, and there you can hike through lush jungle trails, cross swinging bridges, and even zip line over waterfalls. It's a completely different side of the lake, peaceful, lush, and full of wildlife. Another very memorable experience was at Eagle's Nest, which is across the lake in San Marcos. After a boat ride and walking uphill for what felt like forever, Smells like chickens. And ever, in the hot Guatemalan sun, the hike paid off. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I finally arrived to Eagle's Nest. You said no shoes on the platform. Perched high above the lake, it offers yoga classes with one of the most breathtaking views. Even if you don't do yoga, it's definitely worth coming up just to experience the peaceful atmosphere and the panoramic views of surrounding volcanoes. I wish I'd known about this sooner. They even have all-inclusive rooms that you can book, which looks so serene. They have a cafe too. Sadly, this was one of those places that advertised Bitcoin, but when I went to go pay with my coin, they weren't able to actually process the payment. And unfortunately, this trend continued. All right, so the deal with paying in Bitcoin at Lake Atitlán. Many places around the lake advertise that they accept Bitcoin, but when I tried to actually pay in Bitcoin, things got a little more complicated. Here's me attempting to pay for my meal at a restaurant that claims to accept Bitcoin. I asked, "Puedo pagar in Bitcoin?" He says he doesn't have the device to process the payment. There is a language barrier, so just clarifying. Okay. Oh no, I don't have enough cash to cover this. You definitely don't have it? Okay. I gotta go get some more cash. Many places claim to accept Bitcoin, but only about 25% could actually process my payment when I went to go purchase something with my sats. The issue seemed to be that they didn't have a device on hand to actually process the payment. So I found myself going back to the ATM again and again to get more cash because I kept needing more and more than I expected. But enough about the Bitcoin flops. Let's get back to the wins. These are some of the businesses that did accept my coin and made the experience worth it. All of the following are located in Panajachel. First on the list is 80s Coffee Atitlán. Though 80s music isn't typically my jam, this was hands down the smoothest Bitcoin transaction that I had. Also, can we officially declare papaya juice as the drink of Bitcoin? Nothing hits better than a fresh papaya juice in Central America, especially when paid for with Bitcoin. Next up is Chinajul Coffee Shop. This spot was fantastic. They offered fresh Guatemalan coffee, and they even had organic matcha if you're into that. And I had another super smooth Bitcoin transaction. Third on the list is Amorano Hostel. I didn't stay here, but I liked the vibe. I stopped in for a drink, paid with Bitcoin of course, and soaked up the atmosphere. Really cool spot. I highly recommend that you check it out. And lastly, I had to include this one because the food was so good. I went back multiple times, and about half of the time they accepted my Bitcoin. And that is Dolly 6 Indian Restaurant. Either way, this place is a must when you're in Panajachel. And for some final thoughts about Bitcoin Lake, it felt so energizing to be in a place with Bitcoin signs all around. A place where innovation didn't feel corporate in any way, but rather woven into everyday life. Lake Atitlán and Bitcoin Lake are proof that bold ideas can start in small places. If you're passionate about Bitcoin, travel, or just want to be a part of history as it's being made, I can't recommend it enough. Just be sure to bring some extra cash and your sense of adventure. Thinking of visiting? I'm happy to answer any questions. Or I'd like to hear what excites you most about a place like this. Leave a comment down below. There's also a QR code at the end of this video if you'd like to show some Bitcoin love. And be sure to check out my other videos from Bitcoin Beach and Bitcoin Jungle, found at the end of this video too. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you all in my next video.